Assalamu alaikum. My name is Syed Kashif Ali from Chemistry Department. Today, the topic of the presentation is about the tanning industry. I will try to cover all the topics about the tanning industry. So let's start our presentation. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The topic is tanning industry and the contents are I will give a short introduction about the tanning industry. What is tanning industry? What is leather? Obviously, raw materials, which raw materials are used in the tanning industry, manufacturing process, which is the main part of the presentation, chemicals used in the processing. There are many chemicals used in the processing, chemistry of hides, the skins of animals which are used in the industry. Usage of leathers, there are many usage of leather. We will discuss it. Types of leather, there are also numerous types of leathers. Eco-friendly leather, how can we develop eco-friendly leather? And the last point I will give is the feedback. So I will start the presentation by giving you the introduction. So the tanning industry, it is the industry where the process of treating skins and hides of animals to produce the leather it takes place. It is the industry where the skins of the hides uh, they are treated to produce leather. A tannery, it is the place where the skins are processed. It is the part of the tanning industry in which the skins are processed in an order to make them leather. The tannery industry belongs to one of the most polluting industrial sector. Why? Because it uses a vast range of chemicals which are very harmful, dangerous for the environment. And unfortunately, these chemicals are expelled out in the environment without treating them. So it creates most of the pollution in the environment and it is the most polluting industrial sector. Moving towards the next slide. It is also one of the oldest industries. Why? Because it has played an important role in the human history. Humans have used the leather to wear it, also to use them in the car seats. So they have a major role in the human industry. So they are one of the oldest industries in the world. So this was a short introduction about the tanning industry. So moving towards the next slide. What is leather? The leather is manufactured in the tanning industry. It is the end product of tanning, the one of the main steps of the manufacturing process, the raw hide of an animal to make it durable and yet very flexible. The properties of the leather is that it should be durable and yet very flexible for the sake of the use. Leather is commonly made from the cattle, the skins and the hides are mostly taken from the cattle. It is the animal skin that has been processed to retain its flexibility, toughness, and waterproof nature. Different tests are performed to test the durability of the leather, which is it flexible or not? Is it tough for the sake of the use of the customer and has the waterproof nature in it? So different processes are to retain its flexibility, toughness, and waterproof nature. Moving towards the next slide. The raw materials. What raw materials are used in the tanning industry? The raw materials are taken from the cows, sheep, pigs, and goats, which are mostly the cattle. These are also taken from the alligators, ostriches, and kangaroos. These animals are also used to make the leather, which if we have to make a sort of stiff leathers, then these sort of animals like alligators, ostriches, and kangaroos are used because they have a stiff type of skin in their body. So they are used. So these were the raw materials. So moving towards the next slide. The raw materials for the tanning process. One of the steps of the manufacturing process, it includes the vegetables, the extracts from the bark and the wood of trees, and the minerals, which include the trivalent chromium sulfate, which is the most important ion, which is most important material of the minerals. So this was about the raw materials. Moving towards the next slide. Leather manufacturing process, perhaps the most important part of the presentation. The leather manufacturing process, it is mainly done in 3 steps. First one is stages of preparation. How we can start to prepare the skin of the animals and the hide of the animals to make it uh, for the leather, the tanning, the crusting, the sub processes which are the optional. So we will discuss about the stages of preparation in the next slide. Moving towards it. Preparatory stages. This means that we will start the preparing process of the tanning. There are many components of the raw skin which can be removed before starting the preparation. There are many sort of materials such as protein layers, extra hairs. This should be removed in order to make a good leather. Epidermis is also removed. So we will discuss it in the preparatory stages. The aim is to clean the skin to make it reliable. The preparatory stages include, so we will start about it. Preservation. The hide slash skin, it is treated with a method which renders it temporarily improved traceable. What is meant by improved traceable? It is made rot proof. What is meant by rot proof? That bacteria or any other micro bacteria cannot attack on it to destroy it. So this was the meaning of input traceable. The hide skin is treated with a method which renders it temporarily input traceable. The next step is soaking water for purposes of washing or rehydration is reintroduced. The animal skin or hide, they are soaked into water. Liming, the main what is the main point of doing the liming? To extract out all the unnecessary materials from the animal skin, such as the epidermis, protein layers, hairs, natural fats, and grease. So this is the main point. It is the process where the leather is soaked in alkali solution. This process normally takes about 18 hours for the cattle hides. But what is meant by it? This process, the animal skin hides or of the cattle, they are treated for the process of liming for the sake of 18 hours. It is a lengthy process. Meaning of it is that. So this is the description of the liming. Painting, it can be done to remove unnecessary wool. Wool is meant to be from the sheep by applying the sulfide mixture. Sulfide mixture is applied to the sheep to remove the unnecessary wool. Fleshing, the subcutaneous material is removed. Splitting, the hide is cut into 2 horizontal parts. Moving towards the next slide to discuss more the steps of preparatory stages. Reliming, we have discussed it. We have discussed the liming. Reliming, the skin is further treated to further open up the protein layers. This is also the additional step towards the liming. Deliming. So reverse process should take place in the deliming. What is the purpose of it? The point is to neutralize the alkaline. The skin we are using to the deliming is done to neutralize the alkaline skin hide or the pelt. Long-term process ensures the removal of lime. Weak acids are used in this, like boric acid, strong acid, they have a restricted use such as HCl or HNO3 or H2SO4. Batting, it is based on the use of enzyme. Enzymes are used in this process, and it completes this process so that the pelt is light, relaxed, clean, and ready for pickling and tanning. Moving towards the next slide to discuss more about the preparatory stages. Pickling, low acid level is required for tanning. Acidity level is lowered. This is used to bring pelt at a low acid level. Pickling is mainly done to reduce the acidity. It helps penetrate certain tanning agents. Depickling, the reverse of it, raising the pH out of acidic region to assist the tanning agents. We use different type of tanning agents in this process. So we raise the pH out of the acidic region to assist them. Degreasing, it involves solvents or water-based systems that are used to remove excess grease from the tanning. There is certain amount of grease in the animal skin hide. So we have to remove it in order to make a good leather. Freezing, it is the physical removal of the fat layer. There are numerous fat layers that adipose tissue is removed from the skin or hide from of the animal. So it is a step of freezing. Moving towards the next slide. Here the fertility stages are done. Here comes the Tannery process. It is the altering of the structure of protein permanently. Structure of protein is completely altered. The crosslinks are formed in the protein layer to save them, to protect them from the acids, from the effects of acids, oxidizing agents. It is done as mineral tanning. There are two types of tanning, mineral tanning and a vegetable tanning. There is a difference between them. Mineral tanning produces soft leathers and vegetable produces a stiffer leathers, as a sort of hard leathers. The most common type of tanning is the mineral tanning. Chromium, a heavy metal, is used in the process in the form of basic chromium sulfate. Vegetable tanning, these produce brown colored leather. It produces stout sole leather. It is used in various sort of things such as belting leather and leather for shoe linings, bags and cases. So it is also one of the processes of manufacturing processes, the tanning process. So moving towards the next slide. This is this describes about the left one is about the mineral tanning and the right one is about the vegetable tanning. We can see the description of the vegetable tanning. It seems to be a little stiffer leather. Moving towards the next slide. Crusting, the third part. Crusting leather, it is the term applied to leather which is dried after tanning but has not been dyed. The steps are splitting. Thick leather is passed through splitting machine. It cuts it into two parts. Shaving. What is shaving? Uniform shape of leather can be achieved if we need uniform shape. Smooth leather if is required, we can perform the technique of shaving. Neutralizing, it removes the chemicals, preparing for further finishing. The leather is going towards its last stages, so it is required to prepare them for finishing to remove the chemicals. Moving towards the next slide. Fat liquiding. Lubricants are added to make the leather more flexible. Obviously, it is one of the main requirements of the leather that it should be flexible. Samming, bypassing the hide through a number of machines. The water content, it is reduced to about 55%. It is normally dry to 10 to 20% water content. Buffing and brushing. Through mechanical rubbing, the flesh surface, it is removed to produce a soothe effect or to reduce the thickness. It is mainly done to reduce the thickness of the leather according to the requirements. Finishing, the last step. The process is finished by checking the color, softness, grading, quality of the leather. Different types of tests are performed to test the durability of the color, softness, grading, quality of the leather. So this was about the crusting. So moving towards the next slide. The next slide is about the chemicals which are used in the process. There are certain different types of chemicals. The chemicals used in the manufacturing are biocides, surfactants, degreaser to remove the grease, lime to make the liming process, swell regulating agents so that the leather does not swell. So they are used sodium sulfide, sodium hydrosulfide, low sulfide, and herring agents. So these are the sort of chemicals used in the tanning industry. So moving towards the next slide, the chemistry of the hide and skin. The main difference between them, the outer covering of big domestic animals like the cows, they are called the hide. If we are discussing about the outer covering of the small domestic animals like the sheep, they are called skin. The chemical, we are basically discussing the chemistry of the hide, that skin. The chemical composition of the fresh hide and skin fall approximately in the following. They lie in the following range. Water, there it is present 60 to 65%, protein 25 to 30%, fats up to about 5 to 10%. This was the chemical composition. Most hides and skin consists of three types: epidermis, corium skin, adipose tissue. A thin layer, 1% of the thickness, it protects corium. Corium skin. What is corium skin? A thick layer, true leather forming part. It is the main part of the forming leather. Adipose tissue, it is mainly about the fat tissue present at the back of the flesh of no use in leather manufacture. So it is removed in the manufacturing process. The adipose tissue is removed. Moving towards the next slide, know more about the tanning industry. The differences between hide and skin are, what are the differences main? Fat content, it is more in hide than there is skin because it is much more thicker than skin. Epidermis is obviously thinner in skin than in hide. Hair follicle, they are much smaller in skin than in hide. This was the main differences between the hide and skin. So the chemistry of hide and skin is covered. So moving towards the next slide, know more about the presentation. Different usage of the leather. There are numerous types of the leather which are used for different purposes. Binding leathers. Leather is often used to bind or finish books. This binding. Clothing. It is often used to make clothing including pants, skirts, raincoats, and jackets. Quilt, boli, French for boiled leather was historically used to create body armor and flask. This was used in the wars recently in the past history to make the armor and the flasks. Saddles. In fact, leather has been used for all the types of equestrian related products, including the horse hoof boots. Moving towards the next slide, no more different usage of leathers. Footwear. What is footwear? Leather, the fashionable footwear. It is one of the most common uses for the leather, including the boots, shoes, slippers, and the more. Furniture. There are numerous uses of leathers in the furniture. Couches, chairs, recliners, and even automotive interiors. The interiors of the car, they are covered in the leather. The car seats, they are covered in the leather. So it is widely accepted in the world that the car seats are covered in leather. So it has different types of uses in the furniture. Gloves. From fashionable winter gloves to durable work gloves, leather is often used. It has very diverse uses of leather in different fields. So different usages of leather, we have discussed it. Moving towards the next slide. Watches. Leather wrist watch straps, they're common. They're very common, as well as bangles and other jewelry. We have saw that the straps of the leather straps of the watches, they are made from the leathers, as well as bangles and the other jewelry. Sports. Wide usage of leather is in this. Leather has a number of uses in the sports, such as producing footballs and baseball gloves. It has wide uses of leather in this sports field. Bags, satchels, backpacks, wallets, and purses are all made from the leather. So there are different uses of leather in different uh, industries, fields. So moving towards the next slide. Holsters. Leather is commonly used to make arrow quivers, knife sheaths, and the gun holster. The crockery designs are improved to, they are using the leathers in the knife sheaths and the gun holsters. Accessories. Leather is commonly used to manufacture personal accessories such as belts. Belts is widely used by men. It is also used in the shoes. So different uses of leather are in this fields. Moving towards the next slide. Here comes the type of leather. Fox. Fox leather, it is not original leather. It is man-made leather from the rubber-coated fabric or the plastic. It is man-made leather made from the synthetic materials. Bonded leather is made from mixed shredded leather scraps and fibers, similar to the production of paper. It has a low cost. Bonded leather has these properties. Biecast leather, it is made from using the lowest layers split of the hide, less expensive, less durable. So it is not a much durable leather. So we can say it. So moving towards the next slide to know more about the types of leather. Suede. Sewed leather, it is made from the inner surface of the animal hides visible on the underside of the leather. Durable, less expensive. It is more durable, but it is also less expensive. So we can say that sewed is more durable. Full grain describes the leather retaining the imprints original to the hide and the animal it was taken from. It depends on the animal it was taken from. Semi-aniline. Semi-aniline leather, it is slightly pigmented. This type of leather treatment gives it a light surface protecting coating. Semi-aniline leather, it is slightly pigmented. Pigments are introduced in this so that it looks to be pigmented. This type of leather treatment gives it a light surface protecting. Moving to the next slide. Top grain leather. It is the second highest grade of leather which has its outermost layer of the hide. So it should be expensive. It should be most durable because it is made from the hide. Genuine leather. What is meant by genuine leather? Genuine leather, it is the third grade of the leather. Genuine leather is simple to maintain and can last up to several years if properly cared for. We looked at leather jackets. They long last. What is the reason behind it? That genuine leather, if we care about it, it can last about several years. So moving, it is what the types of leather. Moving towards the next slide. How to make eco-friendly leather? This is the main question and the part of the presentation also. How can we make eco-friendly leather which is environment friendly and does not pose serious health issues for the environment and humans also? Use biodegradable wetting. The such type of wetting should be introduced which is biodegradable. It should be degradable into certain types of parts so that the environment should not be polluted. Reduce the amount of sulfides processing. Chromium sulfide is used, so it should be reduced. Other alternatives processes should be used to avoid the sulfide processing so it does not pose health issues for the environment and the humans. Introduce non-synthetic or polymeric de-tarnished systems. Natural dye stuff needed to be used on undyed or vegetable tan leather. Natural dye stuff needs to be used or undyed vegetable tan leather. Use vegetable oil based fat liquors. This is the main point of the eco-friendly leather. How to make it? Use vegetable oil based fat liquor. We should use it to make the process even more eco-friendly. Moving for the next slide. Optimizing the finished system to reduce the waste. We should upgrade the finishing system to reduce the waste so that the waste should be not produced. The leather needs to be biodegradable in less than 12 months. The leather we are producing, it needs to be degradable in less than 12 months if we have to throw it away. An eco-friendly tannery needs to have its own wastewater treatment plant and must refrain from using certain toxic products, colors, and finishes. An eco-friendly tannery needs to have its own wastewater treatment plant. The main issue is that the tannery industry does not treat the water before expelling it out. The industry should have its own treatment plant so that the treatment of water should take place here and must refrain from using certain toxic products, colors, and finishes. Moving towards the next slide. So the last part of the presentation was my feedback. What I have understood from this presentation is that the tanning process of the leather is indeed very damaging to the environment. Because it poses serious health issues. It is very dreadful for the environment. But it also helpful to us as we use it every day because the leather it is one of the most needs of the human. So it is one of the necessity. It pollutes the environment very badly as it has 250 chemicals. We discussed it recently. What sort of chemicals are used in this industry? It pollutes the environment very badly. It has at least 250 chemicals. It is not treated in the water is not treated and it is as expelled out. But will damage but the damage will the water cause is not discussed. We have to treat the water polluted by the industry. The main point is that we have to treat the water polluted by the industry. We have to clean the chemicals used in the industry. The best choice would be natural vegan leather. The best at the in the present moods of the world, the natural vegan leather should be introduced in the market to help world fight against the environmental problems. So up to this mark, my presentation ends. Hopefully, I have explained all the contents very well and you have understood it. So my presentation ends here. Thank you. And I have also added the references of the presentation of the materials. So my presentation ends here. So thank you and Allah Hafiz.